Pokemon losing Palworld lawsuit. Really? Yo, that's kind of crazy if that's true. Let's check this out. Saw that person recommended on Twitch recently. Oh, Legal Mindset? Yeah, they're really cool. Alright, let's check this out, chat.
Pokemon is losing their legal battle with Palworld, according to what we can take from the latest new update in their case with the information we have gleaned. We're to get into that today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, breaking down these legal issues all over the world. And today we have the fascinating case of Pokemon versus Palworld. This is something that I've actually covered on previous streams. I've covered this in the past. But once again, with these big lawsuits, they often don't have updates for a while. And to give you guys a little bit of background on Pokemon versus Palworld, well, unless you live under a rock, you know about Pokemon, which is obviously a massive franchise and it's owned between Nintendo and the Pokemon Company.
Yeah, screw the Pokemon Company and screw Nintendo for trying to gatekeep things that both games share. Like other games can't have the same functionality. It's crazy. I've had more fun playing Palworld than I've had playing any modern Pokemon. They're just mad because it sold so damn well with a similar concept. I don't know. Maybe they should stop being lazy with making new games.
And then you've got Palworld, which is owned by Pocket Pair, and it is really focused.
They shouldn't have sued.
PC.
No,
now, this is
they should not have.
Because one of the big things overall for Pokemon is they've been real console. Let's say loyalists, or you might even say zealots for the consoles. They really don't believe in PC, and they've been pretty hardcore in keeping anything Pokemon-like from entering the PC sphere, which is why they always kind of had an eye on Palworld, and why one of the reasons why
Pokemon on PC would be awesome.
Is Nintendo and Pokemon Company, they filed a case for patent infringement against Palworld Pocket Pair September 18, 2024. Now, this is very, very important, and a lot of people miss the ball here. A lot of people think it's copyright. They think it's the ideas or the designs. This is not about the specific designs, and this is not about the ideas. This is about the patents. So Nintendo filed these patents and is claiming infringement of certain very specific patents.
Which they didn't. They didn't violate anything. Pokemon doesn't have the patents that you would think they would, because it would be too much of a lockdown on the industry. It would be almost akin to Monopoly, which is illegal.
And that's a really narrowly focused piece of litigation. And now they're claiming they violate, obviously, several patents, not just one. And Nintendo wants an injunction to stop the sale of Palworld and monetary damages. So pretty much to kill the game. So to kill the game and recoup any money that Pocket Pair, Palworld...
Yeah, because they're threatened by Palworld and how successful it was.
Pretty much, that's very
giving
scary,
people the Pokemon game we have asked for.
See the consequence for...
By giving us the Pokemon game that we have asked for 10 years plus. And Nintendo refused to give us. And instead, releasing slop.
Game companies, smaller game companies, if Nintendo is allowed to put down Palworld, there will never be, I think at least for a while, there won't be anything that comes close or near Pokemon. But we've got some updates here. So obviously, some of the patents that people talked about, one of the most obvious is the catching mechanic with the ball. That's one of the things that Pokemon included in their lawsuit as an infringing patent. However, Palworld has a defense. Palworld's defense is that these patents were never infringed in the first place. They argue that not only did they not infringe the patents, but the patents themselves are likely not even valid. If you look at the validity of these patents, some of them are ambiguous. They're kind of too broad. They're not in any way violating them on a technical basis. It's not something they have kind of technical exclusivity over, and they're violating that. So that's Palworld's defense, and they've been pretty consistent on that. And the other thing they've done, and which is brilliant, is they've changed the mechanics. And what this does is, While Palworld and Pokemon, both Japanese companies, may have a stronger case, Nintendo may have a stronger case in Japan under Japanese law, under US law, and mind you, the majority of the users for Palworld are in the United States. That's really what Nintendo wants, is to get them hit in the United States. Uh, Changing those mechanics is frustrating what's called a good faith basis claim in US courts under US copyright law.
Well, also the thing is, freaking Nintendo has Japan law under their boot. They get away with a lot of crap over in Japan. They really shouldn't. But here in the U.S., it doesn't fly. Sword and Shield was decent. I'd give it like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 at best for Sword and Shield. It was super easy. Like, there was no difficulty to that game. The DLC offered a little bit more difficulty, but people keep telling me, like, oh, Pokemon's not supposed to be hard, it's made for kids. It's like, have you not played Red and Blue? Have you not played any of the old games? Those are harder than the new games, and they were made for kids. They were literally made for kids back in the 90s. Cut the cap.
So by Palworld making those decisions to change things, to modify certain mechanics, that actually is frustrating them in the US. I know a lot of people think Palworld was backing down, but they actually were being smart there. They were playing the long game. They're saying, hey, they're attacking us and they want our US customers. Look, if it ended up a situation where Palworld was banned in Japan, that really wouldn't hurt their overall market. If they could still go to the US, Europe, Canada, everywhere else in the world, it's not really going to matter too much. The Japanese domestic market isn't going to make or break Palworld. However, the US would. The US certainly would. So they frustrated them on that side. So Pokemon had to counter that because now their claims, their patent infringement claims, are weak in their primary market. So they're saying, okay, let's try to change something up.
5th gen
because,
slap,
of course,
though.
Nintendo has a massive legal team, and
like,
they have been known.
Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2 are amazing games.
Until they're penniless, to go after them with every speck of their legal resources to crush them. Very similar to Disney and other very, very large corporations that are kind of the industry leaders in their specific areas. So the mechanic they specifically modified is actually, it's kind of related to the gliding mechanic, but it's smooth switching of writing objects. So they went to the Japanese patent office recently and they changed the patent language regarding smooth switching of writing objects. Now, it's very interesting because they didn't make it
That's crazy.
more clear. They actually added a bunch of legal gobbledygook. We call it legalese, right? They just added some kind of
course they would.
Extra superfluous
Trying to patent literal game mechanics
like
that
even when, which isn't really used in, especially in patent drafting. I rarely ever use even when in contract drafting. It's just something that you really don't use because there's other ways you can say things that creates more ambiguity. Now, why would they do this? Well, it's extremely rare to modify your patents, particularly mid-litigation. It's not something you would normally do. It's a very odd move because if you're modifying your patent, what does that mean? Well, what does that mean? Shock Pikachu face. Nintendo is not doing good. Nintendo is actually thinking they're going to take the L. So they realize they not only have a weak case in the U.
So they're changing the patents mid-litigation because they know they're losing. Amazing. They shouldn't be allowed to do that, though. Also, patenting the mount system would focus on so many different games, it's not even funny. Because there are so many games that allow the mount of creatures for flight or riding that it wouldn't just hurt Palworld, it would hurt games like Monster Hunter and Ark Survival Evolved, to name a few big ones. Nintendo is really just trying to become public enemy number 1 lately. It's absolutely insane.
West due to the modifications, but they may actually lose their patents. Their patents could be declared invalid. So because of that risk, they're trying to throw out some confusion, some ambiguity, some delay. This is something very common in general as a litigation tactic, particularly if you have a lot of resources. What you try to do is win the procedural victory. Sometimes, let's say the smaller party has justice on their side. We're going to call that the substance of the law. The heart of the law is on the side of the small guy, it's on the side of the underdog. But the big guy has something the small guy doesn't have, and that's money. And when you've got money, you can win a procedural victory. Often this happens by dragging out litigation so long, it becomes costly for the person on the other side, the smaller party, and therefore they have to give up because they're literally being drained dry by litigation.
Yeah, and if you're a company that tries to do that because you know you're going to lose regardless, you have no balls. You're trash. You suck. You probably shouldn't exist. You probably shouldn't practice business. You probably shouldn't sell product. If you have to do that just to win a case that you started in the first place placating as a villain. Because, oh no, we can't have competition to our monopoly of the creature catching video games. Nintendo's a joke.
And they cannot do it any longer. And that's what Pokemon is doing here. Now, I do think that Palworld so far has seen that they have the wherewithal to get through this and not try to settle it out or get something, where they'd be in a bad position. I think Palworld may be able to fight this, but this is really bad news showing Nintendo doing this. It is an obvious intimidation tactic against small developers, indie developers, showing that Nintendo is committed to litigation and they will sue you all the way
Mm-hmm.
all the way to Johto, right? If they feel like you are coming even close to anything Pokemon or their market share,
Yep.
or even going on PC with something that's Pokemon-esque.
Yeah. Pixelmon got sued to, got forced to be removed. A lot of ROM hacks for Pokemon that were free distribution on Game Boy Advance, games you can no longer purchase brand new through Nintendo anyways, got force removed. It's absolutely insane. They are a bunch of carnies and commies. That's why I refuse to support them anymore. I don't want to Switch 2. I don't want to buy any of the new Pokemon games. I do not care. People have got to start saying no to this stuff if we want change. The problem is FOMO. People just can't live without the newest Pokemon or the newest Nintendo game or whatever. Just don't buy it. You don't need it. Otherwise, we're going to keep getting this. We're going to keep getting Nintendo shoving themselves down small company throats, enforcing that no one else can do what they do but them. It's really, really bad for gaming, especially on the emulation front, what they're doing, but that's a whole different story. Versus Palworld. Oh man. Yeah, the Switch 2 terms are stupid. If I want to hack my damn console, it is in my right if I paid for it. They can ban you off. They can ban you online. That's fine. They don't want hackers on their Mario Kart networks or whatever. But to tell me what to do with my console, whether I'm online or offline, is absolute bollocks.
It's really something that they're flexing, saying, hey, look, small creators, indie devs, we will sue you, we will drain you, we will fight this out. You may not be a Palworld. Maybe Palworld will win, and this is actually looking like Palworld may very well win this. But small guys will still crush you. So Nintendo being Nintendo, very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What the heck? No ASMR, definitely not. But that's good. That's crazy. That's good, and it's crazy and it's good that they're, they have to change up their tactics to try to stay in this. But I hope they lose. I genuinely hope they lose. I love Palworld. It actually was refreshing to play that game. Being a Pokemon-esque game that actually added new stuff and open world exploration with similar elements. It was just fun to play. I haven't touched it in a while, but it's really fun to play. El Nintendo.